I'm sure we're all aware of Melee's top tier characters. They're aggressive, polarizing, especially compared to the lower tiered characters in the game. Did you know the top tiers were nerfed really hard when it came to transitioning to Brawl? Can you guess which characters got nerfed the hardest though out of all the Melee top tiers? Fox was obviously nerfed, but at least he still ended up becoming a mid tier. Marth definitely was still great in Brawl, he did not get nerfed. If you said Jigglypuff, Captain Falcon, Ganondorf, or Mario, I would definitely say that those are the correct answers. Am I missing somebody? Oh, Falco? Well, Melee Falco is incredible. Brawl Falco was actually a very solid character. But what could go wrong? Oh dear. Smash 4 Falco is actually a low tier character. But why? And how? Considering the character had an incredible track record for multiple games, every single iteration of Falco up until that point, tier list wise, was a great character. He at least was a high tier in both Melee and Brawl. Melee Falco is known for his blistering fast shine combos that lead easily into his aerials, most notably his down air, which in the NTSC version of Melee, it's known for being one of the best down airs in the whole game. Because of the angle this move sends opponents at, it is essential for Falco's combo game, being a premier tool on stage and off stage because of its ability to spike, making it really difficult to contest Falco when he's using this move, as the spike hitbox comes out very early. Combine this with his shine, which is a frame 1 move that can be cancelled on frame 2 on hit. This allows Falco to shine and then combo out of it, and I'm sure you can see where this is going. This is where the very iconic Falco pillar combos come from. Shine is easily one of Falco's most well-known tools shared with Fox in this game, where Fox sends at an away angle, but Falco sends at an upward angle, which is actually an integral part of Falco in this game. Another tool just as well known is his laser, which is one of the best projectiles in the game because of its ability to come out very quickly, acting the opposite of Fox's laser. Fox's laser doesn't deal any stun, but Falco's can stun the opponent. And the reason why this tool is so good is because it goes very, very far. No matter how far you try to run away, Falco can zone you out with this move and use it to extend combos, start combos, or edge guard. With Falco's fast fall speed, he can quickly shoot one laser and then reset and then shoot the next laser. And that's a big reason why I'm breaking some of this stuff down, is to show just how Falco was playing in this game and why he was so good. As each Smash game goes forward, Falco is going to separate from this version of Falco, and he truly isn't really the same after these changes. Even Melee Falco has his weaknesses, like being chain grabbed and his fast fall speed. His recovery options are shorter than Fox's. Combined with his poor recovery options and fast fall speed, it means his survivability is definitely a problem, and he can die at very low percents from simple gimps off stage. His grab game is also less consistent compared to Fox and all the other top tiers. So despite these flaws, Falco is still an incredible character. It really goes to show how his strengths overshadowed his weaknesses, and having a positive matchup against a large portion of the cast definitely benefited him. Brawl Falco was something else. If it wasn't for Meta Knight and Ice Climbers being such a big part of Brawl's meta, Falco would actually be less overshadowed. As Brawl Falco is still a very good character in this game, it's almost like they didn't really do that much to him in this game. You would think, oh, they're probably gonna take away his iconic options that he had in Melee. Well, not really. All right, pause for a minute. Come here. What if I told you his lasers in Brawl were better than the Melee version of this move? Now, I'm sure you could argue that Melee's lasers are potentially better, sure, but Brawl's lasers were in their own league. This is one of the best projectiles in the whole game. Brawl Falco can shoot 2 lasers in one short hop. So in a full hop, Falco can just spam this move over and over and over, and because Brawl is a floatier engine, characters stay in the air longer, so that means Falco can spam, 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 and spam. Now Falco in Brawl is a bullet hell character. If you like spamming projectiles, Falco's got you covered in this game. Falco did lose his ability to fast fall and shoot lasers, but even with this nerf, it didn't really change the move's viability that much, as it still became one of the best projectiles in the game. Now, if you're thinking, oh, that's it, Falco just has some laser changes, that's it, this character's done for, move on. No, I'm not monkeying around at this point. Ever heard of laser locking? No? Me neither before researching this video. Did you know that Falco has an infinite in this game? Yes, if you down throw and down air on stage and follow it up with a buffer jab and then spam lasers, boom, you gotta laser lock. And there isn't really a way to KO them after the lasers are pushing the opponent away. However, this move is just great at building up percent, so yeah, it's one of the weird things that Brawl Falco has. He has a new chain grab being his down throw, which can lead easily into his meteor smash. Oh my god, this move is still good. Yes, down air. Unsurprisingly, this move would get nerfed and it resembles more the melee PAL version of the move, losing its spike hitbox and only meteor smashing during the first few frames. In Brawl, down air actually deals more damage and it auto cancels earlier. Even though the move is toned down, it's still really good. Even brand new Brawl tech like dash attack canceled up smash, otherwise known as Dacus, would be introduced, and this actually buffed Falco a lot because it allowed him to have a different option to approach in neutral. Not only that, but his up smash did get some KO buffs too. A big thing that they were doing with the Brawl version of Falco was decloning Fox from Falco, meaning their moves would become different from each other and they would change their animations or how they would act. Some moves would get changed completely, some would stay mostly the same. Even Shine. Now this move on paper looks like a significant downgrade from Melee Shine. And you know what, you would be right, it kind of is. I don't even know if it's fair to even compare these two moves because they don't even act the same anymore. Yes, they still reflect and they still do what Shines are supposed to do, but it's not the Melee version of the Shine where you're doing pillar combos and it's a frame one attack that just centralized Falco. It lost its intangibility, meaning the move isn't as safe as it was before. You can't use it to improve Falco's recovery anymore, and because it hits in front of him, he's a little more vulnerable to being attacked while using it. And also, one last nerf that it got is it lost its ability to be jump canceled, so again, goodbye all those melee combos. Inversely, this move covers significantly more distance than it did before, its hitbox lasts longer, and because this is Brawl, this move can do this. Yes, this move has a 40% chance to trip opponents. Oh, the glory of my favorite technique in Brawl, tripping. The worst downside is it has a significant amount of end lag, and that means it's really hard to do follow-ups out of this move. Although I do like it visually, it gives Falco a lot of personality. It's maybe not the best version of this move, unfortunately. Falco's flaws in Brawl are some of the same flaws that he had previously, mainly being his recovery. His ability to close out stocks is also worse, as he has stronger KO tools like his smash attacks, but they're most notably laggy and have poor range. His fast fall speed is still a double-edged sword for him, as it makes him fall like a rock off stage, and in Brawl, his fast fall speed makes you a candidate for certain characters' chain grabs like Pikachu. Despite all these flaws, the character is still holding their own as a top tier in Brawl's very competitive meta. Maybe not so competitive with Meta Knight and Ice Climbers, but who cares? Although being technically nerfed from the Melee version, he's actually the best spacey in the game, being higher than Fox and Wolf. He has amazing approaching tools in this game. He can camp. He can do what a lot of characters really can't do in Brawl's engine. However, Falco from here on out would actually change a lot. The character would never be a top tier again. In fact, the way his moveset and combos are in Melee and Brawl would never be the same. Brawl was making a lot of major changes to Falco to declone him from his past Melee iteration. These things would fundamentally change how the character would be in Smash, as Falco and Melee and Brawl would be more closely related to each other than future iterations of the character, as the Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate versions were almost an entirely different version of Falco. And I don't mean like he doesn't have a laser anymore, they took away his shine. The way his moves function and combo are almost not even the same at all. Some people would say he's one of the most nerfed characters from Brawl to Smash 4, and you would probably be right. If you look at Falco's previous tier list placements, it's pretty obvious to see why they went after him this time around. He was an incredible character tier list wise, and he was 2 for 2 for being a top tier. First off, they took significantly important options to Falco's neutral and they took them away, like toning down his laser significantly. You know, one of Falco's best moves in the game, they toned it down, but I'll leave it up to you if you guys think they went overboard or not. Blaster has less startup lag, can be repeated slightly quicker, so they gave it 2 buffs while giving it a laundry list of nerfs, giving the Blaster more end lag, more delay between consecutive shots, losing its ability to auto-cancel, less knockback, which hinders its edgeguarding ability, decreased its speed, lasers are less safe on shield as they have less hit lag. If you thought those nerfs were a lot, these are the icing on the cake. They have a larger gap in between shots, so now there's a 3 hit lock limit, and they significantly nerfed the distance that lasers travel. Now lasers only cover 3/4 of Final Destination, for example. They gave the move only 2 tiny buffs and threw a book full of nerfs at the move. On top of all this, a lot of Falco's laser locking, chain grabbing, and Bacchus were removed. Yes, they went after down air. You think they were gonna leave this move unscathed, didn't you? No, they obviously didn't. Down air has increased startup lag more than tripled than what it had before, so now it went from being frame 5 to frame 16, making the previous fastest meteor in the game to a shell of its former self. They ruined the move's potential on stage, and it's not even as safe as it used to be in previous games, so now you can't really do combos on stage with down air, as the move has almost double the landing lag, going from frame 12 to frame 23, and the move auto cancels later. They increased its animation from 49 frames to 63 frames. The late hit hitboxes don't last as long, and they even decreased the size of the move's hitboxes and lowered its knockback scaling. Pretty much just making this move only useful for edge guarding, and that's it. His side special was made much slower, and they increased its startup lag and nerfed its hitbox duration. I didn't even know this until I researched this video, but Falco can't even shorten his side B in this game. So why remove that? I really don't know, but they did. Standing and pivot grab have more startup and less range. His recovery was significantly buffed, as he can do side B into up special, as he previously would have went in free fall immediately out of side B. They increased his double jump height, air acceleration, air speed, dash speed, and they brought back down tilt's KO power that the move lacked in Brawl, but had in Melee. Neutral air and forward air became premier combo tools. Moves like up air and back air became much beefier attacks. His back air is actually one of the top 10 strongest back airs in the game. It's not a tool to scoff at all. They even improved his grabs, like giving back throw more KO potential. His smash attacks would be sprinkled with less startup and end lag, and even have increased knockback. If you paid attention to the previous iterations of Falco, his KO power was sometimes a weakness for him, a nuisance at times compared to his other top tier constituents. His neutral was insane though. Smash 4 Falco tried to alleviate this problem by giving him more consistent KO power, but they traded it by gutting his neutral game a lot. This is part of the reason why Falco was seen as a low tier for the first time in the whole series, being in the F tier at 46th place. I will say this, I don't mean to rag on Smash 4 Falco, because clearly the character was going for something completely different. Smash Ultimate Falco is essentially a fixed version of Smash 4 Falco. Now, he clearly was overrated when the game first came out, as he was actually buffed heavily from the Smash 4 version. People speculated early on that he was actually the best Spacey in the game and was easily a top tier character. Until over time, people realized that Falco was not as good as people thought he was. People weren't actually sure about the character's potential on being a top tier, as he mellowed out in the later years, becoming a mid tier. He's still a character that can hang with Smash Ultimate's roster, as any character is truly viable in this game. Because Falco is a mid tier, some people still speculate he's still underrated to this day, and it goes to show that Falco definitely can put up some results in Smash Ultimate, especially compared to the Smash 4 version. There's a lot of people who actually prefer Smash Ultimate, and I actually am totally down with that. If people like this version of Falco the most, more power to them. And they did do some things that worked out well for him, like buffing Falco in all the game's updates. They didn't give him a single nerf. So I give the devs credit for at least trying to give him some help in some areas. Falco feels like a more refined version of the Smash 4 iteration of this character, as these attacks are way better. His aerials are still great at comboing. His multi-hit and forward air, that in Melee this move was kind of a joke move that had niche usage, and then here it is in Smash Ultimate, basically being a completely different attack that's integral to his kit now, which is great to see. At least Falco wasn't nerfed as hard as Melee Ganondorf or Melee Puff. And you know what? You're 100% correct. At least Falco is actually a viable version of the character in Smash Ultimate. But this isn't the same version of Falco anymore. The way they combo, punish, and even recover is very different, and sure, the moves might be similar visually, but the utility is definitely different. Falco isn't doing pillar combos anymore. Now, obviously, characters changing is normal, of course, but it just goes to show why I feel bad that this version of Falco is never really coming back. And I do agree, if some people think he was annoying in the past, especially if you don't like fighting against lasers, I get it. That's why I like to show how Falco has changed so much between each iteration of the character, because you truly get to see how different he became. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Thank you guys for watching the video. There is a Patreon down below if you guys want early content. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Take care.